The orders were given to develop the microbe and also develop a cure and a prophylactic. The microbe would be used against the general population and would be introduced by vaccine administration by the World Health Organization. The prophylactic would be introduced by the prophylactic was to be used by the ruling elite. So they would have it. The cure was to be administered to the survivors when they decided that enough people have died. Now this was from 2001. This report. This report was from 1990. 1990. Now, what has happened to AIDS? Now, remember, this is from 1990. There was a lot of AIDS people dying a long time, for many years. All of a sudden, it just dropped off. The cure. Now it's much less, but they're curing it. Yeah. The cure was to be administered to the survivors when they decided that enough people had died. It was announced. It would be announced as newly developed, like the ADZ things and all of that. This plan was called Global 2000. This was the plan, Global 2000. The cure and the prophylactic are suppressed. Funding was obtained from the U.S. Congress under HB 15090, where $10 million was given to the Department of Defense to produce a synthetic biological agent, an agent that does not naturally exist and for which no natural immunity could have been acquired. Within the next 5 to 10 years, it would be possible to make a new infective microorganism which could differ in certain important aspects from any known disease-causing organisms. Most important of these is that it would be refractory to the immunological and therapeutic processes upon which we depend and maintain our relative freedom from infectious disease. So in other words, it would be attack the immune system so that it could not fight off disease. What our bodies would normally do, it would destroy. That's the AIDS virus. Wow. Planning started on this in 1957. Further subsidization and research in 1968 through the Club of Rome determines to the limits of growth to get more funding for research into this research. Yeah. The project was carried out at Fort Detrick, Maryland. Since large populations would be decimated by the ruling elite decided to target the undesirable elements of society for extermination. Specifically targeted were black, Hispanic, and homosexual populations. The name of the project that developed AIDS is MK Naomi. The African continent was infected via smallpox vaccine in 1977. The U.S. population was infected in 1978 with the hepatitis B vaccine through the Center for Disease Control and the New York Blood Center. You now have the entire story. The order was given by the Policy Committee of the Bilderberg Group based in Switzerland. Other measures were also ordered. The one you will be able to check the easiest is the Hague-Kissinger depopulation policy, which is administered by the State Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg and implore you to look into this, to read into this eugenics nightmare. These are horrific, the worst. Mengele was a choir boy compared to these people, as horrific and disgusting and terrible as they are. They see humanity as a disease. Prince Philip says his one great wish is to come back if he was reincarnated as a disease, and that could wipe out the population and do something to reduce the population. On record. These elites are they don't think like we think, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you're a millionaire, even if you've made millions of dollars, you're not in their class. You don't come from their bloodline, which is very important, by the way. The bloodline is key. I can go over other things about the presidents. All the presidents are all connected. That even comes out in the news every once in a while. You hear, that Cheney and Obama are relatives, they're cousins. Yeah, they're all from the same bloodlines. That's right. Presidents are selected, not elected. That's a fact. It's a scary fact too. So really, it's the whole idea of becoming president really is not true. Anybody can become president. It's just not true. It is an elite position. It is an elitist position. It is a New World Order puppet post with great, great gravy after your 4 years or 8 years of service. Oh yes, you could be making, you can have a total asset value, a total worth value, net worth of $500,000 becoming president, and 2 years after you're president, you're worth $50 million. Look it all up. It's all true. Anyway, so then AIDS, of course, is on the record. Please look this up. The Haig-Kissinger depopulation policy, which is administered by the State Department. Now, William Cooper is a man that speaks truth, complete truth. So, he angered a lot of people. And unfortunately, they took him out on a trumped-up... He was fighting the IRS for years and doing well fighting them because they can't prove there's any law. There is no law to collect personal income taxes, and you can't tax the labors of the American people. That's unconstitutional. If you really want to fight it and go to jail potentially, and have them say the 15 or 20 people that got away with it, saying that the juries actually acquitted people on tax evasion because they couldn't prove there's a law, and then the judges corruptly say you can't use those precedents where you can use a precedent in any other case on earth. Oh yes, this is our corrupt government and penal system, corrupt. It's just, unfortunately, good people work in these organizations. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to demonize the government. I'm not an anarchist, okay? I mean, just like there is government tyranny, there's corporate tyranny, there's medical tyranny. There's a lot of fraud in the medical business. People frauding Medicare. People subsidizing, people, ghost employees, all this other stuff. The labor unions and all the other criminals. There's so many criminals. But the problem is that the elite, it's not just crime to them. They'll use these criminals and then chew them up and spit them out once they're done with them. That's the other thing. The minions that work for them will be the first to go once everything's put into place. They don't need them either. Okay, so we're going along with this AIDS story here. When you put this information out, do not edit it, and please give full credit to the source of the information. Now, this is very important. I'm going to go through this in detail because, again, this is, in first of all, the respect of William Cooper, the late William Cooper. God bless you. Merry Christmas in heaven, William. We are carrying on, or I am, and many like me, are carrying on the truth, getting the message out to the sheeple, as you've called them. He's the one that labeled the people sheeple. And, the more I research people like William Cooper and Larry P. McDonald and other patriots that have been struck down, and you just realize that you're fighting this horribly evil force. That is not one person, but it's an entity in itself. Much like a collective nightmare. All right. You have to read The Limits to Growth. It's a very important thing that you read, put out by the Club of Rome in 1972. A report for the Club of Rome's project on the predicament of mankind. In April 1968, the study began in the Accademia dei Lincei in Rome, Italy. They met with the instigation of Dr. Aurelio Peccei. Top secret recommendations of the results of the study were made by Dr. Aurelio Peccei, who pledged not to use the prophylactic and not to take the cure should the microbe be developed and should he contract the disease. All right. Oh, what a nice guy. Dr. Peccei was hailed as a great hero for deciding to take the same risk as the general population. The public results of the study were published in 1972. The MIT project team that participated in the study are listed below. Dr. Dennis L. Meadows, Director for the United States. Dr. Allison A. Anderson, the United States Pollution. Dr. J. M. Anderson, United States Pollution. Ilyas Bayer, Turkey, Department of Agriculture. William Behrens III, United States Resources. Farhad Hakimzadeh, Iran, population. Dr. Stefan Harbort, Germany, socio-political trends. Judith A. Mackin, United States administration. Dr. Donella H. Meadows, United States population. Peter Milling, Germany, capital. Nirmala S. Murthy, India population. Roger F. Nall, United States resources. Georgian Dranders, Norway population. Stephen Shantis, United States agriculture. John A. Seeger, United States administration. Marilyn Williams, United States documentation. Dr. Eric K. O. Kahn, Germany agriculture. When the study was completed in 1969, UN Secretary General U Thant made this statement: I do not wish to seem overdramatic, but I can only conclude that from the information that is available to me as Secretary General, that the members of the United Nations have perhaps 10 years left in which to subordinate their ancient quarrels and launch a global partnership to curb the arms race, to diffuse the population explosion, they worked on that, and to supply the required momentum to development efforts. Yeah, right. If such a global partnership is not forged within the next decade, then I very much fear that the problems I have mentioned here will have reached such staggering proportions that they will be beyond our capacity to control. This is where books like Eco-Science, the eco-fascist book written by our current science czar, mad science, I should call him the mad science czar. I love it, yeah. The mad science czar. Yes, John P. Holdren, appointed by Obama. That's right. Another Obama appointee that's out to get us, okay, like Monsanto's own Michael R. Taylor, former vice president, chief lobbyist, and attorney. All right, we are under attack, ladies and gentlemen. This is not our government anymore. This is controlled by these elites, and they're bringing in this tyranny that's going to come down hard. Slowly, they're doing it. They're just little by little. They're pulling all these pieces. It's like, you have a house of cards and they just keep pulling one apart and hoping that it doesn't collapse and keep pulling it again. Eventually, poof, it's all going to come down, and that's why they're putting all of this martial law preparations into place at the FEMA camps, activating the FEMA camps, writing laws such as 1867, sections 1031 and 1032. Oh yeah. No fucking joke. No fucking joke, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, continuing with Mr. Cooper's fine work. MK Naomi was developed by the Special Operations Division scientists at Fort Detrick, Maryland, under the supervision of the CIA and for the CIA. A reference to the project MK Naomi can be found in Fane, Tyrus G., and Catherine C. Plant, The Intelligent Community, History, Organization, and Issues, New York, R.R. Barker, 1977. I swear that all the information is true and correct to the best of my memory and knowledge. I give this information to the people of the world in hopes that someone will have the courage and resources to help me end this madness. The Illuminati, the Order, are in complete control of most of the world, and they have declared war against the general populations of all nations. We must stop them at all costs. Please help me, for I cannot do it alone. Please send this file without editing to everyone that you know and ask them to do the same. God bless you all. William Cooper. Now, William Cooper was in naval intelligence. William Cooper served his country. William Cooper was privy to some of the information that nobody is privy to. And through his own network of intelligence resource gathering, he personally had one of the greatest, he absolutely did have the greatest private intelligence agency at his disposal through his contacts. And they killed him. Bill Cooper was called the most dangerous man in radio, dangerous man in radio by Rush Limbaugh, and was called the most dangerous man in America by Bill Clinton. Shortly after 9/11, after he, of course, predicted it and was really going farther towards exposing the criminals for who they were,